Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and I encourage you to arrive exactly as you are to this practice. A few minutes ago, I was encouraging Sangha members to take a moment to really recognize yourself as you are. Being a complex human being, for me anyway, means that I have moments of incredible concentration. I have periods of serious attention deficit and distraction. I have moments where I can access some beautiful stillness and reflection. And I have times where I need to be just a whirlwind of activity. You know, all of these pairs of opposites make up the whole of me. And sometimes I come to practice and I can't be ramrod, zen-like, zazen straight. Sometimes I come to practice and I feel fatigued and bored and blah. Sometimes I come to practice and I might have it on in the background because I'm prepping dinner or I'm cleaning up some mess or, just doing something, living my life, living my full complex life. So again, meeting yourself where you are as you are is the practice. So I encourage you, as you are is perfect. Welcome to this beautiful practice. I'd like to share with you today a sentiment of metta. Metta is loving kindness. And I do this ritualistically before every practice. And it is aligned with a very traditional way of stepping into the sacredness of the Dharma, which is to set an intention or to come into awareness of one's motivation for being here today. I know we're all here because we're trying to understand our relationship to negative habit energy and to cultivate new conditions, new awarenesses to shift that relationship. So what was a negative relationship to various habits and patterns of behavior becomes something more supportive, clarifying, and wise. We're also here for so much more than that. Because on the journey of recovery, just shifting one's relationship to a substance or a distraction or a pattern of behavior is only part, it's only one layer of what we're endeavoring to do and truly what we can do, because we are powerful human spiritual beings. We can do so much. So traditionally, so often in recovery and peer support meetings, the focus is on the one singular maladaptive habit. And while that's important and true, it isn't the whole truth, because so much of us, what motivates that initial expressive habit connects to something much deeper, something perhaps more tender, older. And so we are here to create the conditions for those safe and gentle explorations, for those tender excavations, and for the reminder that whatever we uncover, even if it's painful, even if it's difficult, even if it's messy, is a marvel. And so we set an intention to discover all of the magnificence of ourselves as the motivation for recovering the whole of oneself. Today, the sentiment of metta I'd like to share with you is, may you not deny the purity of your heart. May you not deny the purity of your heart. Take a deep breath with me, friends. Just simple breathing in, breathing out. Friends, the purity of my heart is expressed by acknowledging the qualities within me that I'm really proud of, the qualities within me that are noble and wise, as well as the qualities within me that I find really unnoble, annoying. I've spent years trying to dismiss them, deny them, reject them. Qualities within me that are immature, harsh, embarrassing, humiliating, negative. Both of those qualities make the whole of me, and the whole of me is what is pure. And it's not about necessarily identifying a positive quality and then quickly identifying its negative counterpart, or focusing on the negative and then trying to quickly find its positive counterpart. That is part of the practice. But the deeper practice is to allow a quality to arise and to sit with it exactly as it is, without inflation or distortion. Just to be honest and real and true. And it sounds so simple. And in some ways it is profoundly so. But what makes it so challenging is to have the equanimous, neutral eyes of a pure observer. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm not trying to affect anything, nor am I entertaining what should be or shouldn't be. What it is, what I am, how I am, as I am, that's it. That's all I'm looking at. And over the years, as I've practiced this, and I've learned to see with more clarity, with a trusting sense of this purity, the more I see in everything a marvel. Yesterday, the sentiment of metta that I brought forward was, may my meh moods become moments of marvel. And what Lo and I were discussing earlier was how some Sangha members heard the word marvel as miracle. And before anyone gets nervous and it's like, oh my God, that was me, I did something wrong. No, That's what you heard. That's what your mind translated. And again, invite it to be perfect. It's so great that that's what came forward for people, the miracle. And I just want to invite a spirit of curiosity because that is what we are exploring today. For the month of May, we've been looking at cultivating the first aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, wise understanding, as a quality of being curious. Julia said the word marvel. I heard miracle. Would you look at that? Fascinating. What does it mean? Are they synonymous? Are they even similar? What makes a marvel a miracle? What makes a miracle a marvel? Be curious. And let me tell you something. Why I have spent time prefacing this meditation with cultivating awareness to meet yourself as you are is inspired by a teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. And Thich Nhat Hanh said plainly, I don't think it's so much of a miracle to walk on water as it is to be present to one's own mind and heart. Think about that for a minute. Be curious about that for a moment. Naturally, he's referring to the story of Jesus, who walked upon a highly saline lake, or the story goes. And whenever we're building, historically speaking, one of the qualities of building legends and myths is to create spectacle. Things that are absolutely spectacular, wows the audience. And that's a way of highlighting and elevating and even sometimes distorting an individual. And while it all may be true, what Thich Nhat Hanh is saying is there's a deeper truth, and that is the very simple yet excruciatingly profound reality to sit with one's self, sometimes in the middle of a painful mess, a regretful humiliation, or to sit present to a overwhelmingly humbling success and not poo-poo it, to be with it, to be with oneself fully, honestly, authentically, truthfully. That is not just a miracle, it's a marvel. To marvel at your capacity, to marvel at my capacity. The spectrum of me is amazing. You may not believe it. You may be telling yourselves all kinds of stories about who you think I am or who you think you know me to be. But none of you have ever seen my closet or my junk drawers. Mess, people. My family could tell you all kinds of stories about the real me. And I promise you, they wouldn't be very pretty or attractive, but they would be real and they would be true and they would be the foundational stones that have enabled me to become stable and solid. These aspects of me, everything has become the fertile ground for the seeds of wisdom to speak through me, to create, to gather, to share. These are the qualities within me that are quite exceptional. My capacity to create, my capacity to gather, and my capacity to share. None of these qualities could exist without my experiences of humiliation, regret, shame, lowliness, loneliness, and so on. Meeting myself exactly as I am, according to Thich Nhat Hanh, is the true miracle. And I would agree. And I would shift the words slightly because I'm not so much interested in the spectacle of things. I'm interested in what's real about them. And so to be present to myself as I am is a marvel. Taking a moment to enjoy the marvel of you. Let's breathe. Breathing in, I am present. Breathing out to the marvel that is me. Oh, that brings such joy to my heart. Breathing in, I am present. Breathing out to the marvel that is me. Friends, if you're inspired to create your own little breathing mantra, do so. Make it your own. Meet yourself. Listen to your own wisdom. Let it lighten your mind and your heart. And enjoy these few moments of silent reflection. friends. Let's play that for this practice, you couldn't find the marvel in yourself. Let's play that's true. And let's be with that. And then I would invite you to remember that as human beings and part of this collective soul of being human, I don't think it's a stretch to say that whatever is going on in my mind at times, like all the harshness and the negativity and the insecurity and doubt and all the stuff that I wrestle with periodically, when I encounter someone else, they're probably dealing with very similar things. It's not the exact same, the details are always different, but we are both human beings, and therefore the conditions of that are very, very similar. And I find it so inspiring, really, to encounter someone and to remember that, especially someone who I find is a marvel. And it's hard for me to appreciate that they could ever possibly be entertaining the same kind of harsh landscape that I do, but I know it to be true. And so sometimes when I look into other people's eyes and I can recognize the marvel within them, I remember that what is flickering back at me in reflection is the marvel they see in me. We are one marvel as human beings. So don't forget to see that in other people. And remember that what you see in others is also reflected in you. A marvel, to be sure. All righty, friends. Toward the conclusion of our practice by letting you know that we meet tomorrow at 11:30, online only, and we're going to continue this exploration of being curious. And one of the things we're going to do, it's one of my favorite things. It's an instrument of peace in the Satyaseva book that we talk about, and it's called Words Matter, Get a Thesaurus. And I'm not talking about cheating and going online. I mean, get your hands on a thesaurus. And tomorrow I'm going to demonstrate that, and I'm going to play with the words marvel and miracle as a way of expanding the definition, as a way of expanding our understanding, really broadening this understanding. That's what we get to do tomorrow. Lo has posted in the chat the link to Soul Center, where you find all of our Recovery Dharma meetings Monday through Friday. We meet up again for Satyaseva on Sunday, June 6th. And we're going to continue our conversations. I think we are. Did we finish up with space? We're meeting on Wednesday, June 3rd. Oh, sorry. Wait. Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month, which is... I think it's June 3rd. Sorry, friends. So we get to meet sooner than the 6th. We meet on Wednesday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 7th. We got it finally. And what's going to be fun is in our Satyaseva practice, we're actually going to be talking about the mindfulness practice of space, cultivating space. And in that section, I talk about using a thesaurus. And so we're going to be talking about new words and so forth. So if you can't come tomorrow, you'll get a little more dose of that in our Sate Seva practices. Don't hesitate to email me with any thoughts or questions. Be forewarned that I do write lengthy musings. Sometimes you just get Julia's farm life. I'll just dump out, Jane behaved poorly. Jane's the name of my tractor, or Jane was fabulous, or whatever it is. You just be forewarned, or I'll tell you a story about my bees or whatnot. But email me with any thoughts, questions, concerns. Don't forget to check out Recovery Dharma, their website, to see all of the beautiful offerings that they're putting forward. What else, Lo? Am I forgetting anything? Do we have any? We don't have very many events coming up. Yeah, we're going to do a Saturday starting in June 6th. That's the one I was getting confused with. So Saturday morning, June 6th, 9:00. We're starting. I offer these meditations. It's an hour-long meditation session for spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, and so forth. And we've been going through them every month since January. And I'm trying to remember the topic that we've got going on for this month. Lo, do you remember what we've got going on for that? Oh, we're going to be talking about interconnection in June for those Saturday morning meditations. Interconnections and interbeing is one of my favorite topics. So I'm really looking forward to that. All righty. Happy birthday, Miss Michelle. I know birthdays are very tender for a lot of people. And they can be really, really moments that are like, oh, I'd rather not celebrate. However, I, for one, am so happy you were born this day, however many years ago. And I'm very grateful to your mom and dad for bringing you earthside and for blessing this space. So I do hope you get to have some cake today with a candle or something like that. All righty, friends. Let's end our practice now with a dedication of merit. So we began our practice by setting an intention, by really recognizing what is the motivation for my being here today. And traditionally speaking, whenever we come into the presence of the three jewels of Buddhism, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, we also end our time together reflecting on the merit that was generated here. And merit being goodness, positivity, wonder, curiosity, maybe even trigger. Maybe something got stirred. Maybe a topic was a spoon for your own inner cauldron that gave you a little stir, and things were bubbling and arising for you, not necessarily pleasant. That's merit, too, to be able to look at that. In the Buddhist tradition, at least as been my experience, one of the things that we're invited to do is to not keep the merit just for ourselves. Like, wow, it was really good to be here. I feel so good. Now is an opportunity to consider, how do you want to share it? And it's not like you have to go out and do something spectacular. It could be really subtle. Like, maybe it's time to be very gentle with your houseplants and water your plants or wipe them down. Or maybe spending some extra time with a beloved pet. Or maybe it's a way to make that phone call to that person you've been thinking about, but now you have a renewed sense of presence. Maybe it's writing me an email. Whatever it is, be fearless in your capacity to radiate this goodness. That is a dedication of merit. And so, what I'd like to do is invite you to close your eyes. And I'd like to invite you to bring your attention to the heart space, the purity of your heart space. And see if you can imagine it glowing. And maybe your glow is but a flicker from a small candle. That's okay. Maybe your glow is really big and bright like a sun. And that's where you are today. Maybe on another day you'll be a candle. Regardless, this light in dark spaces. You never know who you're going to encounter, who will see it, who will benefit from it, who will be warmed by it, who will have a moment of clarity and illumination where just before were hours of darkness, neglect, and loneliness. This is how you can dedicate your merit in this practice, simply radiating light. Remembering that right now, someone is dying and someone is being born. Somebody is lost on the streets and someone has been found. I could go on listing the ways humans suffer and find healing and transformation. This is a practice of illuminating it all with great courage and presence. You have that capacity to do that, and so do I. And it's only because of the merit of this practice. So we dedicate it far and wide out into the cosmos. You never know who it's going to touch and who is going to be guided home. The truth of that made me cry.